There is a silent thief that steals our joy every single day. It whispers that we aren't moving fast enough, earning enough, or living boldly enough. We look at someone else's finish line and wonder why we haven't even started. In our modern world, this noise is louder than ever. We scroll through polished images of other people's victories and suddenly, our own reality feels shrinking and inadequate. We forget that we are looking at a highlight reel while living our own behind the scenes. This mindset doesn't just make us jealous, it paralyzes us. If you have ever looked at someone else and thought, "Why can't I be like them?" This story is for you. In a quiet valley shadowed by rolling green hills, there lived a young man named Julian. Julian was diligent. He had a good heart and strong hands. But Julian carried a heavy invisible weight. He was obsessed with measuring his life against everyone else's. He would look at his neighbor Marcus, who seemed to effortlessly ace every exam, and think, "I'm just not smart enough." He would see the merchant's son, who wore fine silk and gold, and mutter, "If only I had his wealth, I'd be happy." Even watching the village athletes sprint across the field made him bitter. "Why are my legs so slow?" he would wonder. Julian became a spectator in his own life. He was so busy watching everyone else run their race that he stopped moving forward in his own. His spirit grew heavy, and his motivation vanished. One afternoon, seeking escape from his dark thoughts, Julian wandered to the edge of the village where an old sage named Elder Silas lived. Silas was known not for his wealth, but for his deep, unwavering peace. Julian approached him, shoulders slumped. "Elder," he sighed, "I work until my hands are sore. I try my best. But when I see how far ahead everyone else is, I feel small. I feel like a failure." Elder Silas looked at the young man with kind eyes. "Meet me at the edge of the great woods at sunrise," was all he said. The next morning, the air was crisp. Julian arrived to find Silas sitting on a mossy stone. "Tell me, Julian," Silas gestured to the vast woodland before them. "What do you see?" Julian looked. "I see the forest, Elder. Trees, bushes, vines." Silas nodded. "Do you see that massive oak tree? It is ancient and broad. And right next to it, do you see the bamboo?" "I do," Julian replied. "Imagine," Silas said softly, "if the bamboo looked at the oak and despised itself because it wasn't wide and solid. Or if the oak looked at the bamboo and hated itself because it couldn't sway in the wind without breaking. Would that make sense to you?" Julian chuckled. "No, that's absurd. They are completely different plants." "Exactly," Silas whispered. "The oak provides shade and strength. The bamboo provides flexibility and grace. The forest needs both. If the forest were only oaks, it would be rigid. If it were only bamboo, it would have no canopy." Silas then walked Julian down to the riverbank. The water was clear, teeming with trout, while high above, a hawk circled the air currents. "Now," Silas continued, "if that trout spent its entire existence sobbing because it lacked wings to soar like the hawk, what would you call it?" "I'd call it confused," Julian answered. "Fish belong in the river. Hawks belong in the sky. And yet," Silas placed a hand on Julian's shoulder, "you do exactly this to yourself every day. You judge your ability to swim by someone else's ability to fly. You are ignoring your own design to covet someone else's. Discover who you are, Julian, and the jealousy will disappear." The realization hit Julian like a bolt of lightning. He saw that by trying to be Marcus or the merchant or the athlete, he was failing at being Julian. From that morning on, the heavy weight lifted. Julian stopped looking sideways and started looking forward. He focused on his own craft, woodworking, and poured his soul into it. He stopped worrying about how fast others were running and found his own rhythm. Years went by. Julian didn't become a scholar or a sprinter. Instead, he became the finest craftsman in the region. People traveled from miles away not just for his furniture, but for the wisdom he shared while he worked. When young apprentices asked him the secret to his success, Julian would smile and say, "A shark will never climb a tree, and a squirrel will never rule the ocean. But in their own elements, they are kings. Stop trying to play someone else's game. Master your own." Friends, remember this. The sun and the moon share the same sky, but they never shine at the same time. They have different timings, different purposes, and different beauty. If you are a fish, do not curse your lack of wings. Focus on owning the ocean. Your path is not behind you or ahead of you. It is within you. Walk it at your own pace.